I think it's time we talk about a city that can possibly replace Mordheim in Warhammer the Old World. Hey everyone, welcome back to Anvil of Doom Miniatures. My name is Deets and I hope you've all been well, and for this week's video I thought I'd put down the paintbrush and we'd talk about a little bit of lore on a city-state that often gets overlooked. And yes, I'm guilty, even I've overlooked this one on my last Every Location in the Old World video, so today I'm going to make it up to you. But anyway, this won't just be purely a lore video, because in the later half of this video I want to talk about where I would love Games Workshop to take the Old World in terms of a new skirmish game similar to Mordheim, and I believe the place we're talking about today can replace Mordheim as a setting. And I know it's a big call, but hear me out first, watch this video and let me know what you think in the end. But anyway, let's get into it. Before we get started, I'll just state, like always, that all credit goes to the artists, and I'll try my best to have them all named in the description of the video. Also, I'm using Warhammer art from various areas of the hobby, and not all the art relates to the subject. I'm using these images to build a narrative. Off the southern coast of Tilia, across from the city of Lucini, exists a fairly small fortified island controlled by merciless swashbuckling pirates. This island and city is known as Sartosa, or to the people of the Old World, it's called the City of Pirates. It's a haven for the scum and criminals of the Old World, and is a place where law and order doesn't exist. If you're wanting freedom to do whatever you want and live your life however you please, or not have a nobleman, a king, queen, or a lord rule over you, this is the place that you escape to. But the real question is, even if you do escape from the mainland of the Old World and flee your old life and try start a new one in this city-state, would you survive? The free city of Sartosa is home to many races like elves, dwarfs, halfling, ogres, but the bulk of the population is mainly men looking to make some coin in some nefarious ways. But like always in the Warhammer world, it is also home to some dark underground vampires, and also the Skaven has a presence as well, even though these are only rumours. It's filled to the brim with mercenaries and pirates, and is extremely dangerous to those who venture there from the outside world. It's been home to many conflicts and invasion attempts, and was originally an elf colony that was later occupied by the Tilians, and then was wiped out by some dark elf corsairs, and also the dreaded Tomb King fleets of Cetra. Being located in the southern section of the Old World means that it's also been invaded by some corsairs from Araby, and the city has also been wrestled for control by the Tilian nobles many times over the centuries, but this city is way too hard to control, and the pirates and thugs always take control back in one way or another. It never stays in the hands of one individual or nation for that long. There are no taxes to be paid in this ramshackled city, and there are plenty of, let's say, frowned upon ways to make some coin. The Sartosian streets are littered with taverns and shanty buildings, along with some dwarven, elven, Tilian and Araby-inspired structures, all built on top of one another, so the city definitely has a unique look to it. It's like nothing else in the Old World, as it can be a bit of a cultural mixing pot. Now that's just a quick top-line summary of Sartosa, but let's get deeper into it and get into its geography. As I said, Sartosa is located off the southern coast of Tilia in a sea brimming with life. The island landmass itself was formed thousands of years ago by a volcano called Mount Ertnia, which is said to be dormant, but that can obviously change. There was an ancient population of Tilians who lived here as well, and some of their structures do remain, but no mortal can remember these times as they weren't really documented. I think the only ones left who can remember anything from this time were obviously the vampires. When approaching the island by ship, it looks like a big rock climbing out of the sea, and is mainly surrounded by huge craggy cliffs which act as natural protection from any invasion. But that's only one natural barrier, as the currents, trade winds and seas that swirl around the island make the waters extremely treacherous for those who aren't familiar with it. The cliffs that surround the island are covered with unexplored tunnels, caves and caverns that can act as ways to access the land above the cliffs. But these paths are also said to attract mysterious and vicious man-eating creatures, so you better be careful, or maybe have a pretty tough warband accompanying you if you want to make it through alive. Being a landmass made from a volcano means you're going to have some fertile land, and even though this place is a hotbed of scum and villainy, farmers and peasants still do populate some areas. Most of the farms are located close to the main city of Sartosa, and they grow grapes, wheat and olives. Obviously these foods wouldn't be enough to sustain a whole city population, so a lot of the food has to be imported to keep its population alive, but the farmers who do work the somewhat rocky lands are definitely protected by pirate lords, who obviously have to take their fair share of the harvest. The ocean that surrounds Tilia is known to have an abundance of fish and life in the waters, so you could say the population of Sartosa has a reliable food source at their doorstep as well. The sea that runs between Sartosa and the Tilian coast is known as the Pirates Channel, and is patrolled by pirate and mercenary ships, so it's definitely a hotbed for some naval warfare. It wouldn't be a pirate island without some treasure, and pearls are a huge export that the free city relies on, as well as the shallow waters around the island are covered with them. But the pearl farmers can be seen as easy targets by pirates, so these pearl farmers begrudgingly have to pay for some mercenary protection from time to time. Okay, so that's enough about the geography of this island. Let's get into the port city itself and talk about some of its districts and what makes this ramshackled city so dangerous. Located in the northwestern tip of the island is the main city, which houses around 15,000 to 16,000 inhabitants. There are plenty of wacky districts and locations, and I don't think I'll be able to go into huge detail about them all on this video because we'll be here forever, so I'll just rattle off the main ones that I think are pretty interesting. And the first one is called Castilla Diablos, which is a heavily armed fortress in the north of the city and has a huge range of cannons and war machines that sit on its battlements. It's definitely a well fortified position, and its gunners are said to be the best troops on the island. Next up, which I would say is one of the main or larger districts of Sartosa, is called the Cliff. Now, one interesting thing about this city is that it's basically vertical, as it sits on a 100-foot tall cliff, and it's become a ramshackled maze of planks, makeshift bridges, and ropes that wind up and down the limestone rock cliffs around some shabby shacks and houses that litter the cliffside. It can be seen as a bit of a ghetto or a slum. The scaffolding that winds up and down the cliff district is highly dangerous to maneuver, as the locals cart their goods, horses and livestock up and down, and it's pretty much a daily occurrence that people who aren't well traversed in climbing this maze fall and go splat below. But in saying that, in recent years the population have tried to install the odd net and ropes in some dangerous spots to try catch people before they fall. The majority of the poorer population live in this area, and the closer you get to the top the better the houses are, and the top is where you'll find some of the villas, mansions that are being occupied by some of the pirate lords. Next up is what I would call the main district of Sartosa, and is where all the action happens, and this is called Peg Street. Need a weapon? Well, you have to go to Peg Street. Hungry and need to hit up the markets? Go to Peg Street. Want to go to a tavern and start a brawl or a duel? Peg Street. Need some entertainment? Yep, you guessed it, Peg Street. This winding avenue is where the main hustle and bustle takes place and is filled with street performers, questionable food vendors, ramshackled inns and houses, but just be careful when you're walking around because the majority of the scumbags and drunken pirates patrol these streets, so you never know what can happen. Now, it wouldn't be a desperate cesspool of a place without some notorious and dangerous taverns, and the honor of the worst one of these goes to the Hole in By the Hill, which is located above Peg Street in a natural limestone cave. It's a place filled with pirates, criminals, mercenaries, and merchants, and it's not a place for the weak. If you want to find a crew, a hitman, or maybe some illicit merchandise, this shady tavern is where you go. Now, if we leave the flat land and head down the cliffs, we get to an area known as Pirates Bay, which is the large entry by sea to the city. As you sail towards the maze of docks, you'll head past the Rock of Jacko the Seas, which is a 20-foot tall, crude, handmade statue of a man carrying a large bag. No one knows who made it or who the man actually is, but it's loved by the population of Sartosa. It was also used as a hideout by the Skaven fleet from Clan Eshin in recent years. Heading past this statue and into the bay, you'll hit a massive maze of docks, which are several clusters of different docks that have merged into one. This place is buzzing with activity as fishermen, merchants, and pickpockets load and unload onto their ships, and the place is like a staging area for people heading off onto some new adventures. Now, these docks are not safe because fights and disputes can break out at any moment, so you'll see that everyone who's walking around is heavily armed and ready for a biff. All it takes is one wrong look and it's on. As the docks are a patchwork of older and newer jetties and piers, I thought I'd naturally have to mention the worst and most dangerous area, which is called Dead Man's Dock. It's the area where the lowest ranked pirates and the poorest fishermen dock their ships. It's a place where desperate scum frequent and is run by a tough Mantillion named Donato Boccinia, whose thugs enforce his rules. The nicer and more upkept docks are called Regina Bassini, and this is where the wealthiest pirates and pirate lords dock their giant ships, and if you tried starting trouble here, you definitely wouldn't last that long. Now, there are a bunch of local hotspots, establishments and taverns in this area, like the Roaring Worm, the Alchemist's Fug, the Crooked Billet, Maud Sully's Whorehouse, and the Beggar's Bowl, where you can hire some Nipponese assassins or ninjas. And it wouldn't be a Warhammer city without some Skaven, and yes, the Rat Boys have a pretty big presence in a place called under Sartosa. This isn't connected to the Under Empire, but is its own Skaven warren under the city and is a perfect hiding place for the Ratmen population of the island. Now, there are plenty of other crazy districts in Sartosa, so I recommend taking a look into them after this video, but we can't be here all day, so let's move on. But before we do that, make sure you like this video if you're enjoying it, maybe share it with a friend, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get back into it. Every city in the old world has their own laws, and even a city like Sartosa, which is considered lawless, have their own rules, but what makes Sartosa different is that they follow a thing called the Pirate's Code. And in summary, this code is basically just a declaration of freedom and loyalty to a pirate's captain. But there are a few rules to this code which are fun, so I'll quickly go through them for you. First up, we have obey orders from the captain and officers. Crewmen may defend themselves and their honor. A crewman may challenge another to a duel, but their opponent chooses the weapons to be used. Next is the shares of booty, where a captain gets 3 parts of it, a gunner or a master carpenter or a boatswain gets 2 parts of it, and all the rest of the crew get 1 part of it. The next rule is those who desert are to be marooned with a bottle of water and a weapon. That's pretty nice. Lazy crew or those who don't clean their weapons lose their share. 40 lashes is punishment for hitting another crew member. All can vote on important decisions. All may have a share of fresh food and captured drink. Theft is punished by having the ears or nose slit open before setting ashore. Bringing a woman aboard in disguise is punishable by death. No one may leave the crew until all have made at least 500 gold crowns. No crew member may fraternize with any wizards. And yeah, as you can see, they're pretty straightforward, and there's some funny ones there. Let's move on to the rulers of Sartosa, and these are the pirate lords. These big dogs sit at the top of the food chain in this sprawling ghetto city and act as the leadership, and are known for settling some disputes, even though most of the time they let the population duke it out and deal with their own problems. These are the guys who have hit it big and are more like mafia bosses who deal with their own squabbles by assassinations, beatings, and intimidation. They are all truly fierce warriors who have small armies of pirates at their disposal. But even though there are many pirate lords in the city, there is one captain who is elected as ruler of the city-state called the Pirate Prince or Princess of Sartosa, but this is more of a title rather than an actual role, as they have no right to rule over the inhabitants. This person, like the pirate lords, is there for settling disputes, but they also have to make the big decisions that need to be made in Sartosa for the good of the city. These elected princes or princesses usually meet an unfortunate fate due to being at the top of the pecking order. So that's it for the background of Sartosa, and that's a pretty quick rundown of the place, and hopefully after all of that you can see where I'm coming from when I say this location in the old world has a huge amount of narrative potential for a sort of skirmish game, or even potential for a new old world faction. Maybe a pirate-themed Dogs of War army could be incorporated into the old world, or even a regiment of renown. I have heard some rumors that the Vampire Coast will eventually be coming to the old world as a faction, which would be pretty cool to see, but with Sartosa you wouldn't have to strictly have an undead pirate army. Now, I know I asked the question at the start of this video, could this be the new Mordheim setting for a Warhammer Skirmish game? And obviously nothing can replace that setting. Mordheim was a perfect culmination of a grimdark expression, art, and miniature design that can probably never be reproduced by a large corporate miniature business ever again. But I do think if GW made a new similar game and not a Mordheim 2.0, then Sartosa could potentially fill the gap. And I do say this not being the biggest fan of pirate-like media. Sometimes it can be a little bit lame, but a grimdark pirate setting done right is something I could definitely get behind. Obviously, Sartosa would need some sort of catastrophe or grand event to get the ball rolling for a narrative, and there does seem to be a gap in the history of Sartosa when the old world takes place, which is a positive. But the potential as a hobbyist to build some amazing terrain and craft these districts for a gaming table is pretty tempting. And GW can make plenty of new minis or bring back some old favorites like the Sartosa Pirate Captain, the Vampire Captain, and the Zombie Pirate, which were made years ago for the setting but never got their time to shine as they were only available for a short time via mail order. It feels like in the past Games Workshop may have had some sort of plan for Sartosa, or maybe a rough idea where they would have taken this pirate island if Warhammer Fantasy stuck around. Also, GW could bring back classic minis like Long Drong's Pirate Slayers as a warband, and they could also bring back minis like the Man-Eater Ogres as mercenary options. But if older minis aren't your cup of tea and you want a brand new game, I guess they could just do a redesign and a refresh. I'm sure people will gobble them up. Now, in saying all of this, I have seen some people already bring Sartosa's setting to expand their Mordheim or Skirmish games, so it could obviously work, and also have seen Sartosa used in some RPG Warhammer games, but I think it would be a missed opportunity for GW to not try and create a new version of Mordheim, and a small part of me inside is saying please don't touch Mordheim, leave it alone. The aesthetic is so perfect, so maybe this could be the better option for everyone. In terms of new product, creating a box set called something like Trouble in Peg Street with a small amount of terrain and maybe a faction of pirate vampires and a motley band of mercenary pirate men with a dwarf, halfling or an ogre employed as muscle could be something to really recapture that Mordheim buzz, which is still going strong to this day. It would bring back a sense of adventure to the hobby, as you have a low model count and you could build new war bands like motley pirates or vampire pirates, Arabian Empire or dwarf merchants, dark elf corsairs, high elf marines, Kislev adventurers, or even a warband of traveling Cathayans. The list goes on, and I feel like the Specialist Design Studio, who are doing some really nice miniatures lately, could have a lot of fun making these new pirate themed minis and maybe adding additional mercenaries like Nippon assassins, green skin pirate muscle, Cathayan porters who can carry all of your loot. Would expand the old world setting. It would also add a new layer of lore to these factions, just the way Mordheim did in the past. Now, you guys know me, I love making terrain, and I can see the potential for creating Peg Street with all its ramshackle buildings, or maybe making some docks and a big ship for some sort of turf war. You can bring the verticality of Mordheim into the game, making use of the Cliff District, and I know some of you out there are already saying this might be too difficult to create, but we really are in a new age of the hobby where talented artists out there on third parties can create some real dock-like terrain with using some 3D design work, and in turn us using some 3D printers, so these things wouldn't be too hard. You could literally keep the rules from Mordheim, but you can also update them a little bit and bring in some new mechanics and introduce some systems that could include ranking up to becoming some sort of pirate lord in your campaign, and instead of Warpstone or Weirdstone, you could have a rare treasure from Lustria, Cathay, Araby, or the Southlands. I obviously don't have any experience in making games, but I'm sure the building blocks are there for something really fun, and you could even incorporate some of the pirate laws into the rules to somehow spice the games up. Now, this is all just a pipe dream. I don't expect this to ever happen, and I'm definitely pitching something that probably won't ever come to fruition. There are games like Warcry and even Warhammer Quest that are available right now, or the new version's coming out soon, and I hear they have some great modern rules, but I really love diving into certain mysterious or forgotten about regions of the old world and thinking about the possibilities of what you could create, because I think we can all agree there is so much more depth to this IP than it gets credit for. Anyway guys, I'd love to know what you think about this. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think this place could be the new Mordheim? Or do you think there's a different city or area or region in the old world that could act as this place? Let me know down in the comments below. And like always, I want to say a massive thank you to all of my Patreon members. You guys are a bunch of legends and you help me make videos like this. So I really appreciate all the support. And if you want to join the Envelope of Doom Patreon, the link is in the bio. And I look forward to catching up with you in the Discord. Anyway guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you next time. Cheers.